Hello there, welcome to a special Plus Talk on Plus Life. I recently caught up with Doreen Moracha. She's one of our favorite HIV activists, and she hails from Kenya. She is also one of millions of people who have been directly affected by the cutting of USAID and the freeze on PEPFAR. Doreen is healthy and undetectable, but her meds run out in June. Then what? Here's our conversation in San Francisco.
Welcome to San Francisco. Welcome to Croy.
Thank you so much.
How's it going for you?
So far, so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We are at an incredible moment in not just the fight against HIV, but I think really here in America and especially in sub-Saharan Africa with what is going on and what our government is doing.
Yeah.
You're in Kenya. As someone who is living with HIV and on the ground in Kenya,
Yeah.
what have the last 6 weeks been like for you since the PEPFAR freeze, the USAID freeze, and people's, I guess, opinions and views of those of us living with HIV?
One, there's been a lot of confusion, a lot of information and misinformation as well. Secondly, there's been a lot of stigma. I have lived publicly with HIV since 2015. But I have seen so much stigma in 2025 that I never thought existed. Like, I am seeing people saying they can't wait for us to fall down on the roads because now we are positive. I've seen people say they can now wait to see how we look like because apparently as a person living with HIV, you must have a look. I have seen cruelty. I have seen people wish death on us. I have seen the work we've done for so long saying HIV is not a death sentence turn into a death sentence in 2025. And the thing is, this is such a big year. Like, this is a year where you don't expect such kind of information. We expect a lot of empathy, a lot of care, a lot of people just supporting each other. But I have not seen that. I have seen people wish us death.
Why do you think that is? What do you think has empowered these people to just suddenly, I guess, show their true colors?
One, I think it comes from the cruelty of pulling out the donor funding. Because you can't just, remember HIV is a lifelong illness.
Yeah.
So being a lifelong illness, pulling out the funding just in the middle of the night, because it was, in our time zone, it was the middle of the night. Then we woke up in the morning and there's so much chaos. That alone kind of created that empowerment that the person who used to support you no longer cares about you. Which means that we are allowed to speak however we want to you because now you don't have the support. So if you don't have the support, it means everything goes. And so everything has been going. And I look at that when I'm like, have we been hiding the HIV stigma so well because we knew there was treatment? And now all of a sudden, because there is no treatment, now we are coming out to tell people this has been our true colors all along. Because you see people giving out, there was some demonstration, there was like a march towards our Ministry of Health. And I saw people in the comment section say, you people should have abstained. You people should have stayed away from sex. Now see, you guys are HIV positive and they're going to die. And I was like, these are not comments that people wake up and just say because there is a funding freeze. These are thoughts they always had. They've always seen that people living with HIV are promiscuous, that is how they got the disease, and so we are allowed to tell them whatever we think we are saying.
Directly, how does this impact you?
So for now, I have treatment until June. For now,
until June, and then
I don't know what happens after June because my facility was USAID funded through a local organization, so it closed already. So I do not know what happens after June.
How does that make you feel?
I don't know. Remember, I have lived through a time when there was no HIV treatment. And even the doctors at that time were just very skeptical on whether I was going to live. And they were even shocked that I had lived for 13 years without treatment. So that was a time that my parents were being prepared psychologically. She's going to die and everything. And now we are still going to lose people's lives, not just me as a person, but there's so many other people living with HIV. We might lose those lives, not because now there's no treatment, but because right now there is no access to that treatment. It has been taken away from us.
Because of politics.
Because of politics.
And for what? They say that this is to try and cut out waste and saving. You're
How is
murdering
it
people.
waste when those are over 40 million lives that have been being saved for so long, for over 40 years? You know what makes me, I don't know whether it is angry or disappointed, is the fact that we have supported people living with HIV through a time when AIDS was actually killing people, through a time when there was no treatment and everybody was trying their best to get us medication, to a time when now we started medication and everything was going well, to a time when science has progressed and now we are telling people living with HIV, you're undetectable, you cannot transmit HIV. And then you equal you. And then it take the same thing away from them. Because what is the point? Even if we, because there have been talks here at Croy that about the HIV cure a lot, but who are we making the cure for if these people are not on care? Because if they're not on care, then that cure does not make sense.
What does it matter?
Exactly.
How do you keep so positive? Because I'm telling you, Doreen,
Mhm.
if I thought that the access to my life-saving treatment was going to stop
Yeah.
in 3 months,
Mhm.
I would not be smiling and positive. But you are a ray of that, and it's admirable. Where do you find that from?
One, there are people living with HIV that I've seen panicking in the last few weeks. They have come to me and asked me, Doreen, what next? Where do you go? Where do we go from here? There are mothers who were either hoping to become mothers this year, women living with HIV, or they're already moms who are breastfeeding. And the one thing that has been holding them together is the ARVs. So if I panic, they panic. If I tell them, let's stay still, we got medication for 1 month. We stay still with that 1 month. We will figure out next month how it comes. Because at this point, most of these things are beyond our control. Because we can't control much on what happens to the access to treatment. But we can control our mental health for now. And I keep telling people there is so much going on social media. Try and sometimes detach a little bit. Step away from the TV for 1 minute. So because when you keep getting all of that, you'll stop taking treatment. Because now it won't make sense.
You go, well, why bother?
Exactly, why bother? So I try to keep the positivity. And trust me, the first 2 weeks were very hectic. I didn't know what to tell people. And people were asking me questions. And I'm like, I wish I wish I had the answers. I wish I could tell you this is what is happening. But then when the waiver came, and then our government, the Kenyan government, did not even communicate that there is a waiver. You can go to hospital and take your medication for the time being. So now I posted online, told people, please go and take your medication. And like, oh, thanks for telling us. Because now we don't even know that even temporarily we have something to keep us going. So I say take one day at a time. It's not a very long-lasting and sustainable approach, but for now, it's what we have. And besides, the HIV response has gone through a lot. Like all of the 40 years we have gone through a lot. So one of the things that sometimes I kind of say is, the H in HIV not only stands for human, it's also the hope. That H carries a lot of weight. It's the human, it's the hope, and that hope is what we keep hoping towards it. There's still human beings in the world who care that our lives are in the line, and somehow, somewhere, something will happen. I believe that. I don't know what, but I know somehow, somewhere, something will happen. And even if the 2 congresses have been so far this year, it shows how people care about people living with HIV. It shows how people are asking, how are you doing? Because it's not just about taking medication. They understand you're a human being. Now there is this threat of you might end up buying medication. People can't afford daily food. How do you want them to buy medication for themselves? So I try to keep myself going, and I try to do that for other people who are living with HIV like me, that we cannot afford to panic. Because even COVID came and disrupted our HIV response. So we will be fine.
And thanks to the HIV response, we were able to develop a vaccine for COVID a year.
Yes.
What do you want to tell people in this country who say, it's over there, it's Africa, it doesn't matter to us, that's their problem, doesn't affect us in America?
Yeah.
When you want people watching this here to understand?
First of all, I want them to understand that the numbers in Africa are not just numbers, they're people. It's Doreen and many other Doreens who are back in Africa who have actually been beneficiaries of medication that is life-saving. I lost my brother because there was no medication. And even though you say that you're trying to take away the waste, it's not a waste when you're saving somebody's life. And that is one thing I want you to understand. It's not a waste. If there was medication, my brother will be alive. He will be 28, 29 years old now. But there was no medication, so we lost him. So it's not just him. We lost so many people because there was no medication. We cannot afford to do that in 2025, especially because there is a commitment to ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. We can't reach there if we do not have medication. So it's time to put the lives of people living with HIV first, to realize that these are actual human beings who take medication every single day to provide for themselves, to keep their lives going, and to just live to see another day. So we really need that medication. Like, we really, really need it. That is why it's life-saving, and that is why it keeps us going. It gives us the hope that tomorrow is going to be a better day. So it's better worse if it's saving somebody's life.
And you know what else is interesting?
Mhm.
You know, the administration is saying we're cutting all this waste.
Mhm.
The amount that was given by the government to USAID
Mhm.
is just such a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of the budget. And I think it has been misconstrued,
Yeah.
and the general public have been told lies,
Yeah.
making them think, oh, it's all this money.
Yes.
And really, in the scheme of things of what the US budget is,
Mhm.
the contributions to USAID
Mhm.
were minuscule
Yes.
compared to everything else.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. We're standing here.
Mhm.
There's a big rally going on behind us. You know, talking about the scientists and the importance of scientists.
Mhm.
For you to be able to be here in San Francisco and be at Croy,
Yeah.
mixing with these people and with your colleagues and fellow advocates,
Yeah.
what does that mean for you as far as giving you that hope that you talk about?
So first of all, in as much as the medication has been defunded, defunding science is a next level of cruelty, because it's these same scientists that worked so hard for us to have life-saving medication. When you defund them, it means you take away all the new innovations that they've been working on. We have the lenacapavir there. We have the injectable ARVs that have come. Like, we never used to have that. We went from taking so many medications to one
hero or one shot.
Exactly. So defunding them means you are defunding the whole aspect of what makes the HIV response. So seeing them here and seeing them fight, they're not just fighting for themselves. They're not fighting for the good work they do. They're fighting for us as well, to keep us alive. And I don't think I've ever seen scientists. I have never seen. Normally, because all the conferences we go to, it's us advocates. But for the first time, they've come out to speak and say, no, you cannot defund the science. Because if you defund the science, you defund the people. And if you defund the people, then it means that then you're taking away all the hope. Because now they are being promised a once a yearly little lenacapavir, but they don't have the money to continue with that good work, to mix the things they mix in the labs and everything. So when you see them here, you also have, when I see them here, I also have the hope that they're also fighting for us. Other advocates, we are all worried. That I have to tell you for a fact. We are all worried. We are all wondering what is going to happen. And it's not just about the aspect of us taking off medication going away. There were people who were working. There were mental mothers, there were clinicians. They were all working, all of them in the HIV, and they've lost their jobs. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to do anything.
And the insane thing is, this is money that had already been approved and spent.
Exactly.
So you've stopped something that was already approved.
Imagine stopping a clinical trial. People were in an actual trial site and they were stopped right there immediately. So if somebody had a gadget maybe that was tracking them, it just stops there, like no preparation, nothing. And I know that for example, the Indian population and even the African governments have been accused of, they were misusing the money. They were doing, There are processes of doing these things.
Yeah.
There are processes because that is the whole reason. I am very sure they don't just give us the money and they're like, go and do it. There are processes. And even if they say, okay, we want to save the money, then give us the time. Tell us, okay, guys, we're giving you 3-5 years. Put your house in order, and then we are going to be gone. It was nice doing business with you. And that is what happened. It happened at midnight. Then we woke up in the morning and people can't access medication. Very loads can't be cured. Resource cannot be done. Like nothing was going on.
Babies are born HIV positive but didn't need to be.
For no reason.
What?
Like, and that is one of the things that annoys me, that we keep putting people's lives last. And whatever else in front of these people's lives. These are human beings. We actually deserve a generation free of HIV negative children. We deserve a world free of AIDS. But we cannot reach that if this is what we're doing in 2025.
Well, Doreen, keep doing what you do.
Thank you so much.
You are a hero to so many, including myself and all of us at Plus Life.
Yeah.
And we just got to keep going.
We have to keep going. Security actually have to keep going.
What choice do we have? That or die. It's actually that simple, is it not? It's either we keep doing this or we die. It's sorry to make it sound as black and white, but that's the truth.
That is absolutely the truth. So, in as much, and I think I want to talk to the people living with HIV who might watch this.
Yeah.
Then stop taking the medication. We might not know what will happen next month. Like, I don't know what happens after June. But for now, I am taking my ARVs. For now, I am taking it one day at a time. Don't listen so much to the stigma. The funny part is the stigma even went down to the fact, because now for the first time, the world was talking about HIV again.
Yeah.
And then in our families, we were now talking about HIV. And our own family members were saying the same bad things that strangers are saying on the internet. So I know it might be disappointing, but don't give up. At the end of the day, your life matters. Your life does not change because you're a person living with HIV. You are as important as anyone else, but please don't give up. Please.
We won't.
Thank you so much.
I love you, baby.
Thank you so
Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
It's just devastating on so many levels. Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch. What did you think of this episode? Please share your thoughts. Leave a comment below, especially as it relates to Doreen's story and everything that's happening in sub-Saharan Africa. And remember, you can like, follow, and share. We are across all your favorite social platforms at Plus Life Media, and the website is pluslifemedia.com. Until next time, be nice to one another. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.